Do you ever wish to shoot somewhere completely new? Somewhere you've never actually been before, somewhere you've never seen anywhere, somewhere where it's actually impossible to find anywhere in the world? Well, sometimes I do. And with Instagram these days, honestly, nothing feels authentic anymore. Even the best locations here in Tokyo, for example, I've seen it everywhere a million times in the best lighting conditions. And now, as a filmmaker, I almost find no inspirations there. I find more inspiration just walking around and find a cute corner like this with some used greens-free beer boxes next to me. And yes, don't get me wrong, of course I always try to find the best, most secret locations, like this one. A tiny alleyway with some cool machines, some cool boxes of beer, and just no one around. But sometimes I kind of wish I could enhance this situation a bit more. I wish my creativity could push these locations to something you've never seen before. And this is nothing new. It's something that's been made in movies in Hollywood for years. Well, it's 2025, and you definitely can. This is something some of your favorite movies have been doing for ages. You just didn't know that now you can do it too, with only a few tools and a lot of practice. Now, before you start using AI the wrong way, let me explain. This is called matte painting, or digital set extension. Think of it like on Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings, or all of these beautiful old movies. Obviously, they created beautiful locations, they shot in beautiful location, and there was a lot of set design. But a lot of it wasn't possible, and a lot of it was VFX and post-production digital set expansion, which means that there's people who go on the laptop and digitally create sets so that it matches whatever they shot. And now, with the tools that we have, you can do that too. It's quite simple, you just need to understand how to use the tools and definitely add a good layer of color grading on top. So you might ask yourself, sure, you can extend the frame like this, but everything you extend, using Photoshop and generative fill, for example, with the still, right? And the answer is yes, but you don't need much to make people believe in it. Here, for example, this whole frame, it's pretty much still. There's a few shadows moving, but you don't really notice that. There's a lot of things that can give it away, like trees moving and stuff, but if it's just concrete or just a landscape or anything like that, it's kind of hard to give it away. And then there's movements, small camera movements like push and pulls in post-production, or just simply tracking yourself walking across the frame can really sell this effect. And then there is the fun part, creating scenes where you're not in it, the camera is moving, but it's completely absurd. And this is where Artlist and Artlist AI comes into place. They just released the new Sora 2 and Veo 3 models, which are by far the most realistic modules of AI, text to video and image to video out there. Look, I'm not a fan of creating completely fake scenes, especially because of what I do. I like to hold the camera, I like to create something unique, but sometimes you do need to enhance your creativity for specific scenes like this one. And then that's where AI comes into place. I'm obviously not using it all the time, but for specific situation, I think it's a great tool, especially if you learn how to prompt it right and then add a big layer of color grading on top to sell the effect. So let's not waste any time and let's get onto Photoshop. So what you want to do is, first of all, go outside, shoot some shots, and understand what kind of shots work. For example, you can't shoot anything handheld, anything that's moving, it just won't work. So you want to shoot something where you're moving in the shot, or the subject is moving in the shot, but it's not really entering or exiting the shot. The full body is in the shot, it's kind of far away, and then in post-production you can then track it and add some sort of camera movement. So you need a tripod. You can't shoot anything like a tree that moves in the wind because that will give it away right away. And then for the in-between shots, Artlist come into place and it helps us create motion within the shots, because obviously if you have all tripod shots and you're super far away, it will give it away. But if you're kind of playing with it right and adding some motion using AI, I think you can sell the effect. And let me explain first of all how to use Artlist. You need to get good at prompting. Prompting is everything, because these AI models are good, but they're not amazing just yet. They can't really recreate exactly what you have in your mind or what you see outside unless you give them the right prompt. So for example, in this sequence, I shot a sequence of me ordering a drink from a Japanese machine. Wouldn't it be cool to add an epic shot of the bottle actually going through the machine? And I tried it, and after a few times I was like, it's kind of hard to get the right thing. So obviously a shot like this, it's, close to impossible to get. You can't get a camera inside a machine, and if you can, come on, it's not possible. So AI and Artlist comes into place. The new Veo 3 Pro and Sora 2 Pro are possibly the best models out there so far. And sure, it doesn't look realistic, but if you see the sequence all together, almost your mind doesn't recognize that something was wrong, especially if it's something that lasts 1 or 2 seconds and you add a good grain and color grade on top. Now let's move on to the fake set extension. Here we're using Photoshop instead. So here what you have to do is take a still from whatever shot you have, you take it and you drop it into Photoshop. Now what you want to do is double the size. So whatever the shot is, double the size, because once we go into post-production, then you can zoom in at 2x and you'll have the original shot, so you don't lose any quality, but you can also zoom out and then the quality is higher because the resolution is higher. So once that's done, obviously your photo is tiny and your canvas is huge. So select the area around you or around whatever subject is moving, then simply invert the mask and using generative fill, write something. For example, we're in Tokyo and I want this to look kind of weird. So I added a bit of like a commercial, almost business feeling around this environment that I have. And then what I did, I selected this tree because I didn't really like it, and I added a shrine because we're in Tokyo. And then I selected the road because I didn't like the way this came out, and I added some Japanese letter because there's Japanese letter everywhere on the roads here. Then as a last, I wanted to change a little bit of the background, and so I did. Once that's done, all you gotta do is export it at the highest quality, bring it back into your software, video editing software of choice, match it with the shot that you have before, where your real shot goes on top of the fake matte you just created. And here, all you gotta do is do a bit of adjustment, a bit of feather on the edges, and you're done. Remember, if you wanna do these kind of shots, you can't really have much movement in the shot because then things will start kind of looking weird and it gets harder. So what I like to do is have usually a central subject, for example, and extend from there, or have the subject doing very small movements and then extend from there. I don't like to have too many big movements because then it will start to get very complicated, and I like to keep things simple. Do I think this will take over the world with AI? No. But I do think for us creators, there is really a place for AI to be used in the right way. And in my opinion, this is one of them. So if you want to check out Artlist Veo 3 and Sora 2 models they just released, have a look down in the description. There is a link to Artlist where you get 2 months free with any year subscription. Honestly, I've been using them for years now and I've been partnering with them for years. And let's be honest, it's the best service out there. So if you do like this video, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you next week. See ya from Tokyo.